Hey everyone, and welcome back. It is finally time for us to check out another Honkai Chronicles. This time it's about Otto, and I would say without further ado, we're heading right into it. I'm very curious to see what the official channel has to say about their villain, so let's go. Otto Apocalypse.
Life is but a walking shadow,
Mm,
a clumsy actor gesturing on the stage, who only appears briefly and steps off in silence.
mm, true.
Otto Apocalypse, the most pathetic fool alive.
Wait, they're
He is
dissing
the
him after
revered
5 seconds.
overseer. He is a corrupt, bigoted clown.
Wow, they
Over
are really mean.
centuries, he once sacrificed lives beyond count
Wait, is that Welt's father? He looks like Welt, that's why I. Wait, why is that Otto?
for his selfish desires, but also
Mm.
overthrew a decadent reign with people's support. He treated humans as pawns and trampled the value of emotion and life,
Mm.
but treasured Valkyries at the front line and prayed for their triumphant return. Commitment and betrayal, friend and foe,
See, isn't that what I'm
truth
talking
and
about?
lies.
This is what I'm talking about. This character is so conflicting because there is good and bad. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to justify any of his like doings because I think they are so bad. Like human sacrifices and human like experiments are really bad. You know, that's a no-go. But at the same time, there is still I talked about this too much. Let's go on.
No one has ever seen through him, but to
Mm,
Otto himself, his actions only served one purpose.
mm.
It all began in an afternoon 500 years ago.
Eh, when he met her.
Though Otto was born in the three houses, he was frail and sickly. He
Mm,
could only craft whimsical inventions, which naturally deprived him of inheritance. His older brothers detested his effort at self-destruction, but no one noticed his inner needs and desires. It was then that a white-haired, blue-eyed girl brightened Otto's cold and dull heart like a ray of sunshine.
that's so
She
cute.
praised Otto's work sincerely, expected great inventions from him, and invited him to save the world with her. For the first time in his life, young Otto felt recognized. He could be expected. He could be needed. Since that faraway afternoon, everything he did has gained meaning because of her
Mm.
validation.
That's why he
But the
became
twisted
obsessed
fate
with
would
her.
not spare them.
Mm.
The rampant plague and the failed crusade tore the prosperity they lived in apart. Power and force were the perfect fuel for greed, turning a
Mm.
shaky faith into the breeding ground for degeneracy. In the turmoil, the lives of the two reached a turning point.
Mm.
Fearing abandonment, Otto chose to disregard ethics and
Mm.
performed experiments on dying patients.
I'm always wondering, like, they recommend to read the manga beforehand, so this is not new. But sometimes I really think, like, parts of these videos you could just watch before you play. Like, this summarizes just the manga.
He sought findings at all costs.
Hmm.
Callan, who could not condone his crime, became a raven at night to spread hope and
She
enact
was
the
basically
justice
a
in
Robin
her
Hood,
heart.
right?
But
Giving
lies were
back to the
lies.
poor people.
After many operations, Callan discovered the secrets of the human experiments, and Otto exposed himself at the last minute.
Mm.
Before the infinite greed of Schicksal, individual will was nothing. Callan was imprisoned. The cold bars separated the two that were once childhood friends,
Mm.
yet their minds had already drifted further apart.
Mm.
To Callan, the dignity of life was what she had sworn to defend.
Mm.
To Otto, morality
This is also like the Kaslana part that comes in within like all the Kaslanas, like to defend humanity, and protect them. And like Otto was just solely like trying to get more and more validation out of Cullen with like he wanted to cure like the Honkai diseases and other diseases as well. And he did like the human experiments for this sole purpose to like gain more validation of like Cullen.
Morality and ethics were only prices to be paid.
Mm,
A loud slap and a conflict of beliefs sent
mm.
them on completely different paths.
At the same time, there was no communication at all. And this is sometimes the thing that pisses me off. It's
Otto
weird.
knew that in no way could he stop Callan.
Mm,
He accepted it and helped her escape in silence.
true. He even sent her weapons.
After everything settled, Otto was given the key to the library. Although Void Archives used the index permission as a bait in an attempt to possess Otto, Otto did not fall for it. He developed technology with pieces of knowledge, and thus a game that would last centuries began.
Wait, who is
In the
that?
days that followed, Otto searched for Callan while continuing his research and experiments. When he heard Callan was in danger in Yai village, he immediately had Oath of Judah delivered, but not the response letter that spoke his loving heart. Meanwhile, Callan sealed the Hersher of corruption in the black box with Oath of Judah, but was severely wounded. She was taken back to Europe by Schicksal for a trial.
Wait. Can we go back? I think. Wait, what? Sealed the Hush of Corruption. Okay, we know
Callan
that.
sealed the Hersher of corruption in the black box with Oath of Judah,
Yeah.
but was severely wounded.
Oh.
She was taken back to Europe by Schicksal for a trial.
Why was she taken back though? I thought no one knew that she was there. And then she was wounded, and how did they find her? Was that in the manga as well?
Callan was faithful and refused to sacrifice for family feuds, and thus was sentenced to hanging. Otto tried everything he could, but it was futile before the church's will. On the day of execution, the desperate Otto released Honkai Beast on the execution ground. He planned to take Callan amid the chaos, but he underestimated Callan's resolve. In the end, Callan lost her life when protecting the people. Losing the love of his life painted Otto's world gray again. Resentful, he chased after Callan's shadow. He tried to give this sad story a happy ending as she would have wanted. He sounded the horn of revolution with his wisdom and cleansed the remaining evil with his hands. People sang his accomplishments, and soldiers admired his resourcefulness.
But
As
he still
cheers of victory
did many
echoed
wrong
through the
things.
silent church, Otto could not help but ask himself if this was enough. In the centuries that followed, the hole inside Otto was still agape. The only way to mend it was to revive the love of his life and the holy maid of the people, Callan Kaslana.
But doesn't that change the timeline itself? Even if you go to the imaginary tree and keep her safe, I'm confused. It makes a new branch grow because something different happened. But doesn't that mean that life that we knew about, like the whole, like our time that we are playing now, should be changing in some kind of way? I'm confused.
In 1496, Otto had no choice but to travel to Shenzhou in
What a
search of
creepy
the
picture.
legendary master
I'm playing too much Honkai Star Rail. Luocha. He has a coffin. What?
Phoenix for a chance to revive Callan.
Oh.
He met the fledgling swordswoman Li Sushan and found the reborn Fu Hua. But to his surprise, even an immortal celestial had regrets and could not bring back departed souls. In the
Okay.
end, Otto and Fu Hua made a pact. Schicksal would protect Shenzhou in the powerless Fu Hua's place, and Fu Hua would serve Schicksal as a
Ooh.
Valkyrie.
Wait, was that mentioned somewhere? I heard this for the first
In
time now.
1952, the first Honkai eruption broke out, Schicksal captured the amnesiac first Herrscher and performed 3 years worth of serial experiments on him, which yielded.
Wait, is that the anti-entropy light visual novel? I feel like this is it, right? I feel like they captured Joyce and then he was like in the branch and then like anti-entropy was like founded and split themselves from Schicksal with Joyce, right?
Nothing. Otto even approached him in person
Ooh.
to persuade him into succeeding to the Schicksal overseer, but failed. To eliminate risks, Otto decided to wipe out the North American branch that was about to discover Schicksal's ugly truth. He launched Honkai fission missiles at New York, where tens of millions lived. Heroes defending freedom and justice stepped forward and crushed Otto's scheme at the cost of their lives. This led to the independence of
novel as
anti-entropy.
well?
This
there is
failure taught Otto to take hold of the power to retaliate Honkai, which led to the Clone Project and the Artificial Stigma Project.
Okay.
In 1972, Otto began running forbidden clone experiments in the hope of reviving Callan, but the results were not satisfactory. After injecting the cells of Honkai Beast Vishnu, the first living batch of Callan clones was born. Otto
Teresa,
made them
right?
fight one another to
Teresa?
death at the end of the survival test. Only the individual numbered A310 rejected this absurd order. Her kindness in valuing life and her courage to defy her maker shocked Otto. He took A310 into his family and named her Teresa Apocalypse.
Crazy.
Meanwhile, Otto established the Tower of Babylon laboratory
Oh
to study
God.
artificial stigmata.
Talk about the second eruption.
Countless gifted children were taken from their parents and subjected to inhumane experiments day and night. Insurmountable suffering and hatred against humanity nourished these Honkai vessels. At last, Siren, the second Herrscher, was born. Otto mustered Valkyrie troops to subdue.
Even though she was just the second one, right? And I feel like every Herrscher is like getting more and more powerful, right? And I feel like the final Herrscher is always the most powerful, like throughout history. But Siren, because of the fact that she had multiple Herrscher cores then, right? She was so powerful, like nearly the whole world was wiped out. And it took like so many plans, right, to like accomplish victory, and so many died. It is insane. They nearly lost that, even though it was just the second Herrscher. It's crazy.
The Herrscher dived into her sentience with the help of Fuhua and received revelation from the will of Honkai. After many great sacrifices were made,
Revelation.
Otto gave the order.
Do we really know what it said to him? He didn't really understand what it said, right?
To launch Honkai fission missiles at Siberia, to bury the truth deep beneath the scorched snowfield. Otto's resurrection project gradually took shape due to the guidance from above. For several years, Otto tried.
What? We need to. Sorry, sometimes. What?
Otto's resurrection project gradually took shape.
Resurrection
due to the guidance
okay.
from above. For several years, Otto tried to create the most promising clone with Kiana Kaslana and Siren's genes for the second Herrscher to possess upon return. He transplanted the core of the second Herrscher to the test subject numbered K423. The longing for Cecilia gave her life. After being taken to St. Freya by Himeko, the love she felt and the bond she made helped her learn to love this world and those around her. Watching Kiana move along the path he designed, Otto knew when she began to believe she would never be alone was when he could advance the plan. In the illusory Tower of Babylon, the girl's despair and longing for motherly love facilitated the Herrscher persona's awakening. Fuhua took her back to Schicksal. The experiment pod confined her once again. Facing the pod, Otto's eyes only showed a hunger for.
Wasn't this in like what, chapter 8?
The Herrscher of the Void's power.
Crazy.
As Otto injected enormous Honkai energy into K423, Hersher of the Void returned. Otto saved the dying Fuhua and told her his plan. Looking into Fuhua's furious eyes,
He just
Otto
killed her.
paused for a short yet long moment and pulled the trigger.
He's an asshole.
Everything went according to his plan. Himeko burned up herself to tear through Siren's will. Kiana's sentience returned to the body of the Hersher. To obtain a Hersher of the Void who could command the power with human will, Otto trampled emotions and disregarded lives. Otto believed that love and emotional bonds could evoke miracles, but he never respected nor honored them.
True.
So far, Callan's revival was only missing a key, Cosmic Juggernaut's beacon. Previously, to reach the imaginary tree that governed how worlds worked, Schicksal cracked the legend of King Arthur and found the key of infinity that offered space travel in the River Thames, but it was incomplete. Durandal passed Pioneer Sue's test by chance and received information and experience as numerous as sand grains in the Ganges. To complete Cosmic Juggernaut,
Don't know what that
Otto
means.
struck a deal with World Serpent's leader. He traded Void Archives for Cosmic Juggernaut's beacon.
So Cosmic Juggernaut or whatever it's called, that's the second key, right? He needed this beacon and it was the second key, right?
When the Hersher of Dominance and Hyperion were locked in battle, he took the theater of domination and thousands of cores in secret. At last, the fully prepared Otto returned to the beginning. Kolisten, where Schicksal's blood and tears were buried. It would become the end of his long journey. On the other side of the stage, Valkyries had readied themselves as well. Teresa would succeed as the Schicksal overseer and lead the newborn Schicksal toward a bright future. Bronya would shoulder the weight of the Welt name, for the Hersher of Reason's path had stretched to her. Fuhua concluded a feud that spanned centuries, so she could embrace yesterday as a human and open the door to tomorrow. Kiana broke free from the shackles of fate and created a trail of flames that would guide them forward with her friends. Durandal broke through the barrier of Kaslana and earned a new heritage that only belonged to her. Valkyries were eager to settle accounts with Otto.
I love these shots.
Indeed, they won. Their crush.
Guys, I would totally watch an Honkai Impact anime. I would love that. This game has such a great potential to be like an anime. I don't know, the story is so complex and good and well written, and it has lovable characters. It has fighting and everything, like trying to survive, and it would make such a great anime. I would love this as an anime, and I feel like it would get a lot more popularity as an anime as the game itself does, because I feel like most people don't really like play Honkai Impact just for the story. I don't know, take their money and make an anime out of it.
Victory was a heavy blow to Otto. What they did not know was that their growth, their resolve, and even the joy of winning were also part of Otto's plan. What he planned for in the past 500 years was but a bargaining chip to attain death and a new life. After being defeated by Valkyries, Otto broke free from Imaginary's control momentarily. He imbued the world's wedge with all the false god's power to create infinite possibilities for Callan.
Oh.
As Otto left his last message, his sentience finally dissipated in the still time-space.
That
To
was
different
actually a
people,
sad scene.
Otto perhaps means different things, but to Otto himself,
With the music, I'm getting chills. Like, this is also insane. Like, this shot, he looks 100% like Luocha. The coffin and the outfit, I know that like Luocha is more like Void Archives, right? who traveled with like wealth or whatever. But this outfit, he looks so much like Luocha in this. Bro, what the hell? But yeah, back to like, but I really like this sentence. To different people ought to perhaps mean different things. Because we hate him, but we also like, part of me understands also like the sorrow and the tragedy that he went through, you know? I don't know.
Perhaps means different things. But to
It's
Otto
crazy.
himself, all rights and wrongs are
Mm.
transient. He has attained eternal peace. His life as a fool is finally over.
Hmm. And then they are ending with these shots to try and gain sympathy from me. As I said many, many times before, he's a very complex character, you know. But yeah, I think he was a great villain. That's it for this reaction. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you want to see more Honkai stuff, make sure to check out everything else. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I would say I will see you all in my next video. Bye.